I picked these up at Costco. I got 3 bags of the organic Miracle-Gro soil. I got some worm castings. Here's the other bags. If you guys remember last year, let me walk back here. I put together some raised beds, and this is kind of yucky. Well, that's what it looks like when they're empty. But let's go over here. This is the compost that I've been saving. This is all my kitchen compost that I put into those coffee cans, and I keep it out in the garage. And my husband is throwing them into my raised beds. Of course, you can see there's leaves in there. I put those leaves. There's some more leaves to go in there. And even like things like the pine needles, just a little bit of everything. And then I'll put that topsoil on and the worm castings and get this all primed for doing my garden. Lola, I don't think you want anything that's in there. That's my little helper. Ooh, here's some more leaves, tons of leaves. And even things like I can chop off the dead plants here, and just everything's going to go into my raised beds. This is my first year doing them, and the first thing I noticed is, I just put them down here where I kind of wanted them. My husband noticed that they're kind of uneven, but I don't think that really matters. The ground is not level. And then I have a tulip growing up here, and this is another flower plant. I need to dig those out because I don't want those in my veggie beds. These are all going to be veggies. I do want flowers, however, along that fence line there. What do you think, Lola? Do you think we're going to grow good veggies? Yeah. Well, stay tuned for my gardening adventures. I'm going to be doing a lot on flowers, my flower beds, which are back here, and veggie gardens. This is all going to be tips and tricks. And oh, no, let's get out of there, Lola.
Watch. Get around the way.
Watering everything down, and then we're going to put the worm casings, or castings, not casings, worm castings into each of the raised beds.
Get that off.
These are 50-pound bags, or 50 quarts it says. Feels like 50 pounds when you lift them. We're going to put a little bit of the topsoil in, and then the worm castings, and then the rest of the topsoil. I posted about this on my other channel. My second channel is called Left Lane Finds, because I'm a reseller. That means I go out thrifting and yard selling, and I find things that I can flip for a profit. And everything about that is on that other channel. And I did a whole post on what happened to my shoulder and what's going on. So I am not able to do a lot with helping, with the garden. Oh, I just realized it's still on me. Let's flip the camera. My husband would have had to help me with some of this heavy lifting anyways. I could have just opened the bags up and then hand shoveled it into my raised beds, but he's helping me because he's a bit stronger and has two arms and legs to work with. I am not able to help with all of that. So just in general, I dislocated my shoulder. I talk all about that in the other video, so I'm not going to include that here. That means you just have to go over to my second channel. If you're not into the reselling and all of that, you don't have to subscribe to that channel, but it might be interesting to you what I do besides all of the gardening and other adventures. And then let me just flip the camera around. I can't wait to get this area done. Now, I was going to be ambitious and work on this spring and summer. This might have to wait for another season. We'll see. Back here I have a lot of perennials, so not much to do back here. Just clean the yard up a bit. Now, these are my Dusty Millers. I've done videos on these and said, how do you make them into perennials? Well, this is how I did it. I planted them and then I let them winter in place. I don't yank them out. I don't trim them down. As you can see, some of the older ones are much bigger. But as soon as I start to see the green sprouts, let's see if I can find some on these. Well, maybe they're not coming around yet. But when I start to see the green, the new sprouts come up from the bottom, and we're past the frost mark, and here in Michigan, I definitely wait till after the 15th of May, so I have almost a month to go yet. That's when I start to clean up my flower beds. So yes, they look terrible over the winter, but I don't care. I don't have to have neat and clean flower beds when I'm trying to preserve my plants over a harsh winter. Got some irises, different kinds of irises grow. I hope these bloom this year. They've been in here for a few years. I believe this might be the 3rd season, so I'm expecting blooms out of this one. If it blooms, you'll see it on my channel. I have lots of other perennials in here. My daughter gave me that, and she just placed it there, which I like it there, but I can always move it around, and I gotta think of something really pretty to put in that. She also gave me some of this ground cover, which is just going everywhere, but I love it because I dig some of it up and I put it in my pots that I put on the patio. But we'll be talking about all of this in the over the next few months, all of the gardening things. This is my mint in there. Doesn't look like anything, looks dead. Those parts are dead. Just cut those off. Wait for the new greens to come up, and then I'll have mint for my iced tea. Let's take a quick look at my front flower bed. It is full of leaves. I put those in there. I like to have the leaves compost on top of my mulch, and then I will put mulch in later. One little lonely tulip. Doesn't get a lot of sun there. I have to remove that. This is the forsythia bush that, although I'm letting it bloom and it's getting taller again, I do not like this bush anymore. If I want to save it, I will put it somewhere in the backyard behind the garage. If not, unfortunately, this might be the last time it blooms. It was very tall and out of control. It had a lot of dead on it, but what it does is it shoots out. I'll show you. This is my neighbor's driveway right here, and that's their vehicle. It shoots out branches, and even though I trim them back, it's like all year long I'm fighting with that so it doesn't scratch up his car. Then these are all of the irises here. This was an evergreen bush like that one there. We have to dig out that one. Trimmed off all the branches, just got to dig it out. This was also, it kept growing further and further into my neighbor's driveway, and no matter how many times we trimmed it back, it just, you know, it's just had gotten out of control. So I decided to remove them, and I put a hydrangea bush in here, and although it looks dead, there are green little tiny, so you can get my camera won't even focus on them, little green shoots on it already. And my thought is to have one there and then one down at the other end, and then I have all of these little, I'm not sure what these are called, but they're really pretty blue, like a violet color. They definitely spread all over the place, so I can always yank them out where I don't want them, or dig them up and place them where I do want them. They only bloom in the springtime, and then it's just the green leaves that they were growing underneath the evergreens. It looks like I have a couple of irises back there, which I don't think I planted those. Those must have been hiding behind for a bit. And that is the side and front flower beds. lots of work to be done, lots of areas. I'm going to be going to the greenhouse with my neighbor in a couple weeks. It opens up, and that's where we get our flowers and our veggie plants. We get annuals, perennials, and all kinds of like hanging baskets and everything else you can think of. It is so much fun. So stay tuned for that. We had so much rain at the end of March into the beginning of April that her aluminiums started coming up. She was even surprised how big they are for this early in the season, but we're also getting pretty warm weather. It is unseasonably warm for April here in Michigan. This is all her ivy here. And so she's happy about that. And those will be so pretty once those bloom. And I'll show you those later on in the season. Enjoy some of these spring flowers that are blooming. Please subscribe to my channel. Drop any questions or comments below. And I'll see you on the next adventure. Feel free to watch some of my gardening playlists while you're waiting for the new garden to start. Thank you for watching.